Professional. Hey, I see you and I feel you. I'm listening to you every day, cause you're shining like a diamond. Playing break and scrape and jumping new. I'm rooting for this cutie, sexy female DJ. She's so fine and I'm listening to the Natural Empress Show. I got D-Mark on today, girl. Empress my jack, natural like that. I'm happy that I'm with you. Empress my jack, yo, that's a fact. I'm always tuning in. Here we go again. You're playing sweet music. I got a whole song. I respect you much.
I trying to figure out what going on.
Huh?
I trying to figure out what going on. This you got a whole song for true?
A whole song.
I got Chad in the studio.
Oh wow! I ain't never been in your studio, you know. Hey, baby, she say it.
Little fair in the corner.
What's happening? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, what's going on, Justin Love?
You know we don't stop this week. This week don't stop.
I love it. I love to catch you in your.
We live on air now. We live on air, guys. So okay.
In your natural habitat.
Yeah, that's how we wait.
I love it.
And you can't forget your story and thing, you know.
Hey. Here we go. Here we go. Star 106 hits. Yes, indeed. Time for another edition of Free Your Mind. Welcome. Yours truly, the Natural Empress, in position to rock this radio. Just like D-Mac and Gino D did last night. We're going to rock it, all right? With that said, this hour is being brought to you courtesy of KFC, Fresh Market, Pinder Tile, Muffler World. Thank you to Generac IASD. Discount Distributor and Discount Distributor Liquors has got us, as well as Fine Thread. Thank you to everybody that makes this possible. Channel 976 on cable. Good afternoon to you, everybody that's tuned in. Natural Empress and Star 106 on Facebook. Got a very, very exciting show for you, as always. Thursday is when we dive into the culture. Hashtag for the culture. This is when we dive into the industry and definitely talk to its very best. And with that said, my special guest, and I always enjoy having dialogue with this young man as he wipes his mouth. So if you want to see the conversation and you want to see the artist, please log on to Facebook right now, Natural Empress or Star 106 on Facebook. After last night's performance, I don't know where he found the energy or the time to talk to me, but I want to say thank you to you, D-Mac. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. I having some of my conch. I doing some stew conch. I just get just now. You know, I vibing on some of our libations. We doing our thing. We in the studio non-stop. This is a 24-hour thing, and this is how we do it. I got the guys in the building. Chadwick, Chad. I got everybody in the. So we doing our thing, man. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you finding the time to make sure find some time for us, man. To find some time for some real love.
Yeah, we got to review. We've got to review after what I deem, and I want to say big shouts out to the BTC family for that, because just the idea of merging and showing true unity amongst the artists is so necessary, because I think a lot of people have this misconception, although some of it may be true, that there is no true camaraderie in the business. And to see the veterans doing it and definitely leading by example, because that's what that was last night. That to the point where, see, I come in my white today because I thought y'all was gonna wear white. You see, I'm just saying. You know what? That was just phenomenal. I mean, I watched it from start to finish, and it was just pure energy. It was vibes. It was almost like a tutelage as well for those that were watching. Those are in the business, is like, oh, okay, so this is what I got to do. This is where I need to be. Shouts out to sweet Emily, who also, I see she's joining us right now as well. She was a classic act all by. I see you doing the Veronica dance last.
Hey! Boy, the Veronica, that's the new dance, boy. That's my dance. Don't, hey, from now on, that's my dance. When you see me start, when you see me do like this, that one over.
You know, but
Yeah, Veronica.
the meaning to that dance, let's think or love yourself, son.
Wait, what? That off the chin, boy. That off the chin.
Man, so listen, I did not get a chance to talk to Veronica and Sweet Emily post the show. We spoke prior to. And I think because I have such I have an opportunity to talk to Emily very often. And we spoke after the show. I just want you to give us a feel of what that was like last night with the two of you giants wearing your white, of course, in unity on stage. What was that like last night? Because I was a
Firstly, firstly, I gotta say, so it was this thing. I was approached of this. Man, D-Mac, we need you versus this one or versus the next one. It was NKB all this, and I'm like, why should I do a versus against anybody in this country? I mean, we need to make sure that we show unity inside our country. It may work for other genres. Maybe they may be established at that point, but we are not at that point to be doing the verses because first of all, we need to be unified and we need people to see us as a unified body. And so I told them instead of this voices, you'll need to put it as a and because voices mean against. And I'm not against any particular artist in this country. And that's what it's all about. It's all about this love and we making sure that we sharing our culture. And that's the bottom line because we have to get this thing out there. We have not done it as yet. And so to be versus and against one another doesn't make any sense. And so the whole thing is all about us getting together and showing what culture does when we unify. And that's what last night was. Pure
that was magic.
Pure fire last night. Pure fire. I talking like there is if you look in the comments, no negative at all.
None. I was folks, reading straight through.
Listen, it was absolutely amazing. The band, the energy inside the room, you actually could have feel the fire. It was like this force that was in there, and it wasn't a negative force. It was pure positiveness going on inside that room. And it was like everybody was on the same line. We were doing our thing, and it was just pure fire going on. It was what they call lit. That was lit last night.
Y'all call each other. You say, yo, Chino, what you wearing? But you wearing white? I go wear my white too.
Wait, listen. Let me tell you what happened. Now I come there in white, right? I said I can wear my white, so I had my little jacket or whatever I was gonna put on. But I say, boy, and get to what? And I know how I go when I start sweating the grizzly. I say, man, it ain't make no sense me put on this jacket. So I put on a jacket, white shirt, white pants, and black boots. So I was inside the kitchen. We were getting some stuff, getting food. I was getting my Veronica on, and then so they called me to do a briefing before we went on, before we started the live. So they brought me into the room, and then when I walk into the room, I saw me again. I was like, well, if this me here standing up, look, that is over there. You know, going away. You know what? On the same thing, the white shirt, the white pants. In fact, he changed his shirt. He put on a long sleeve because he on a white t-shirt, just like me, white pants and black boots. I'm telling you. So it was the same thing.
I too shall wear white.
Yeah, I too. So he say, well, to make the difference, he bring one shade. I say, well, anyhow, at least I can make some kind of difference. But on the camera, you ain't gonna see all of that. It could be white, and black.
I mean, it was just, that was unity to the next level, man, to the next power. Knowing that, you know, so many persons were watching, so many persons were sculling, so many persons were singing along, so many persons had their own party. The only thing you kept asking, if you're home, and I'm talking to the camera, I said, boy, Mark, we don't have no choice. Yes, we home.
Now I tell you, if you're home, if you're in the front room, move all the furniture out the way, because you all know when D-Mac come on stage, that's one all about, especially D-Mac and G.N.O.D. Now that ain't no small thing. That's big time. I don't know if the Bahamian public actually understand the level of entertainment that was going on last night. Like, that was two giants going, they were doing their thing and really kind of bringing the normalcy to this pandemic that has been going on. That is a tremendous effort. Shout out to BTC as well.
Now, where the band was concerned, please let's give kudos, because again, you know what? That young lady, she's a show by herself.
Woo! Neshi LS is the deal. The deal, no lie. The deal, no lie, man. You know, I when I look at the up and coming artist, she is one of those persons that I look at herself and Songbird. As females, they are really doing their thing, and they're doing it properly, and they're doing it right, and they really have the talent. They write and they sing excellently. She
Mhm.
was doing some things last night. I was like, listen to me, girl, go stand back on the side. You trying to take my show?
Real
But she
talk,
was
real
no
talk.
man. She was no, but on real talk, man, she was absolutely awesome. She did what she did in terms of professionalism, in terms of backing. She did her thing. But when it was time for her to shine,
A
she knew
step up.
exactly what to do. And she stepped in and she did exactly what everybody. And I got to give it out to JD. I got to give it out to the band that performed last night. Those guys were on point
They
for
work.
every single part of it. I got to give it to the engineers. Listen to me. The production, the look and the sound of it is what we need to represent. That's something that I stood for from time to tell people, look, if we're gonna do something as
Do it good.
Bahamians,
Do it
as
right.
a country, do it right. Go about it the right way. Do it the right. Hire the best people. Get the right people on board to make sure that you have the right presentation, the right sound, and that's what I stand for. And everything and every we were tight last night. The only thing was missing, Chad didn't play last night, but if Chad was there, then they would have been on. We'd have been on some more fire. But you know, but
It
it
was
is
it
what it
was
is, and
it was fire though.
I
It was
gotta
lit.
give it up. I gotta give it up to the police force. I have to give it up to the government and the police force because you know we got permission to be out after curfew time in order to be able to provide this service for the Bahamian public, and that is no light feat. And so I got to give it up. I got to give it up also too for the government, to the government and the Bahamas Police Force for allowing us to be able to present ourselves and give our craft because you know the real is we ain't working 7 months plus,
You
and so
know,
for
and
even something like this, it's been crazy.
as well as I'm hoping in them giving that kind of permission, it was understood or it is understood how important and what role music plays in the lives of not just us as Bahamians, just people in general. We're all mentally going through something, physically, spiritually, financially, and music has healing. The same way I'm happy to know that the beaches are going to be open too because the water too has healing. You
Yes.
agree?
I agree 100%. In terms of even entertainment, I think stuff like what went down last night needs to be the norm that happens that people need to see because we need to get back to some form of normalcy in terms of what we perceive as the thing that is normal. Entertainment is that we have missed so many regattas, so many homecomings. I mean, persons who would have traveled, and believe it or not, these are people who might have been strapped for cash back in time, and they would need that extra outlet at least to get away to kind of get some. They would travel to the family islands. They would go home to homecomings to their families and all of that to get some form of normalcy. And that has not even happened. And people don't even realize that in the midst of this pandemic, even though it was hardships, before the pandemic, at least persons would have had that outlet to be able to have a little sigh of relief, a little breather, and that has not been happening. And so, what we have been getting, even from Gino and myself, what we've been getting, because I've been speaking to Gino from earlier this morning, we've been talking all day, and what we have been getting is the response
Yeah, I
from
get it.
people saying, "Look, that is much needed. We have needed that. This is something that needs to happen on a more frequent basis."
Yeah, it was a real jolt of energy, is what it was.
Yeah.
Now, I want to take you back. I want to take you back to a particular night. I can talk all our business now, right? I want to
Woo!
take you back to a particular night during karaoke at the Dilly Tree. And
Endless loving.
no, boy, not even, not even. And after we sing a couple covers that we did, The Closer I Get to You, Roberta Flack and Ting, right? You said, boy, I want y'all, meaning us and the staff who was there, to hear this song. This is what the song was. The first time ever played was to us, the crew at the Dilly Tree. Here it is, Star 106, taking you back, D Mac, right here. Check it out. You remember that?
I remember.
You said, boy,
I
I
remember
want
that.
to hear my new song. First
That was
time.
me. That was the quiet me.
Boy, I ain't over that. I know, but no quiet you. But yeah, but he was like, listen, I want y'all to hear this. I want y'all to hear this song. And this was the song, boy,
Boy, that was,
boy.
you know what? I would give anything to go back in that era, that same time right there,
For
that
real,
same
eh?
space. I serious, boy. That was an amazing time, boy, for all of us. I mean, I don't know,
Yep,
life was really, really good back in them times. I ain't gonna lie. Them Dilly Tree days,
boy.
my
We
lord, the
uh,
karaoke days.
and guess what? Don't care how much time they changed the name and changed the owners and thing. There was never ever that same kind of energy.
Never,
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 never.
ever,
It was just something about whatever that was. We had that
ever.
chemistry. And it was a
That
chemistry because it was a makeup of different people doing different things. And
that
everybody
magic
was
was
really functioning and there's and it was that
in
was an
their
era.
element. In
That
their
was an
everybody was
era.
in their element. Real
That
talk,
was an
boy.
era. No lie.
We
And we have not yet seen something like that ever happen in the Bahamas ever since.
that's what
We
I'm
need
saying.
something like that back again. We have never seen that. I've seen karaoke's happen, but I've never seen on the likes of what we were doing.
Boy, Dilly was the ish.
Never seen
That's
on the
what
likes we were doing.
that was the stuff. I'll
See, you
never
saying
forget
ish
that
and
night.
stuff, you almost cost me to say the word.
Only because we still live.
I tied tongue because I almost put ish and stuff together.
Man, that's gonna be don't do it. Real talk. But
Hey,
listen. I'll never forget that night. You say, boy, I going solo, son. Look, listen, my
yeah,
new track, son.
that was
And this is it.
crazy though.
This
And the
was it. I'll
response, because people have never even heard the song before, and like the response was like everybody was going crazy, crazy,
I
crazy on the song. I
remember.
was like,
I remember
what?
that. That's,
And
I
they
can tell
they
you.
are
Hold on. That I can tell you now. That is exactly 10 years ago. Talk.
what?
Yes, because guess what? This before I had baby boy. This before I was pregnant, and my daughter
True,
gonna be 9. So I know
true.
it's a decade ago. You're
That's
supposed to
before he
remember
was
when we
juicing.
released it.
That's before he
You
was
see, boy,
juicing for life.
looking for life. Wow. Wow. My dog right here. Y'all thought this was a joke. There you go.
Hey,
You
you know
better
what time
get
it is.
going on before your life begin. And you're sure gonna leave it behind when your life ends.
You seriously don't remember the date when you released your first song?
I don't remember.
You
I
serious?
don't listen to me. In this kind of time and this kind of day and time, you better try. You remember the important things: your children name and the birth date and them other things. Them other things you don't really get. You don't get to. You don't get to attach to.
Cloud, you know. All right, there we go. Star 106 hit the first ever hit D-Mac right there. He was Dylan back then, Dylan McKenzie with Dogs Don't Bark at Park Car. I'll never forget the first time I heard this track. We're going to talk more about it, but of course, we got to find out what's happening on the streets of Nassau right now. We got your traffic report coming your way, followed by more conversation with this giant of an artist. Of course, right here, another edition of Free Your Mind right here on Star 106 Hits.
So much for slow starts that we turn out for
Yeah.
this one.
All right, so we got this little traffic report, some commercials, and then we jump right back in. So what y'all
All right.
working on there, other than eating greasy stew conch?
What you mean, greasy stew kong? I thought stew kong was healthy, boy.
It was, but well, I wouldn't say healthy. I said greasy only because your lips are shining like the prime minister one.
That's the alcohol.
Oh, dear Jesus!
That's the alcohol. Look here, ain't no shame in my game. I don't care. However you live, that's your life, and you choose to live it. If you want to live on the life on the side or wherever it is, that's how you choose to live.
You know
But
what I
there's a
did like?
reality in all of this. If we, God, hey, listen
No,
to
no,
me. I just asked somebody yesterday. Like, tell me the truth now. Y'all really believe y'all pastor gonna be sitting on the right hand side of God, and when I get on the line, he can say, "Oh, yeah, Mark is a good man or not." No, all that's on the same line together.
Until he separate the sheep from the goat.
Well, all of we are sheep until we find out who is sheep and goat.
That's what I'm saying. I feel you on that. I feel you on
Yeah,
that.
so I live my life. I live my life based on positivity, love, and God. Real.
You know what I did like last night too, and if Emily's still with us, she'll tell you. I love the fact that, and I don't know if this is going to be now, you know, a trend that's being followed, but you see how you ended with that little whirlwind of gospel like she did. I don't know if it was planned to be that, but that did something for me. That was powerful, as they would say.
That's what it is, though. It is getting the message to the people, and that's what the word is supposed to do. A lot of times we leave the message inside the church and we don't bring the message outside of the church. But the
Yes.
platform that I have the ability to be able to give the message to those people that don't go to church. So if I carry that positive music to them, then that's what this thing is all about. It's bringing
And
the
and
message, you know.
and you did it. That's exactly what you did, because after you had them whining and jucking and sculling, you're like, okay, now let me remind you who still run things.
Let's go
And
to
that's what
church.
you did. Let's go to church,
Let's
and
go to
that's
church.
in you. That's in
Let's go to
you.
church.
You grew
Let's go
up
to
in the
church.
church.
I don't deny God, and God ain't gonna deny me. I know what God is in my life, and I know He real, real, real in my life. So I ain't gonna deny that, and I ain't ashamed of that.
Good stuff. That was nice how you ended that last night. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
man.
Love it. Love it.
But that's how I always do it, man. It's always like that. I always and I try to make sure that I tie to every particular person that's listening to me on my audience. I know I could do songs. I do songs for everybody. I don't just do one side of it. I try to attract I attract the young, I attract the old, and I attract the Christians and the believers and non-believers. That's what this thing is all about.
It's just covering a wide spectrum.
That's what it is, and that's why you see me. That's why I'm able to survive so long. I just cover everything.
Who phone that is?
That's my boy Dale calling. I got to big him up
No,
on the
no, no.
radio.
I feel no. I
I
see
know
a
how you calling me.
phone. I see a phone vibrating
You could hear
somewhere.
me?
Of course I can hear you. You can hear me?
Hold on.
That's your phone? I hear a phone, brethren. Star 106 hits. Yes, welcome back. It is Free Your Mind on a Thursday, and notoriously known to definitely tap into the music industry. And this Thursday is no exception. It's actually very timely, right on the heels of watching one of the most powerful performances ever by two musical giants. And, I think it was a very proud moment for Bahamians at large last night, because they got that 2-for-1 special. You know what I mean, Mark? It's like, oh my God, I love Back That Bam Bam, but Jesus, I love Stagger Lee. You know what I mean? And you just got all,
Yeah,
people were just so
and
excited.
that's what it was. It was a back and forth between like hits from everybody. Everybody, oh, I like this song. Then next one, oh, I love this song. And oh, I like this song. And I like this song. And like it was just like we were just going back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it just proves that our own music is so powerful and so energetic and so vibey and so lit. And that's what it's all about.
Now, as I watch this video, as Beats puts it on the screen, right? Oh, go Nishi. Oh, stop it, girl. Now, what I want to ask you is, for all of those artists and upcoming artists in particular, is one thing, and you and I know this, to, be a great performer. I mean, a great recording artist. You've got the vocals, them pipes are piping. But when it comes to hitting the stage, it requires something so much more. Now, last night, that was totally exemplified to the next level. Advice to the younglings that coming up.
Study, 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 study the artists. Look at those persons that are in there. Don't get in your head so much that you figure that you're already at the point that you have arrived. You're never there. Humble yourself. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still humble. I'm still trying to get myself to the point where I could do it. But then there is when it comes to entertainment and you getting on stage, there is an art. It's an art form. Studio is one thing. Performance and entertainment is an art form. And you're talking about communicating and connecting to your audience. Now realize that the fact that both myself and Gino and Nishi, myself and Gino, but then Nishi as well extended, there was no crowd.
My point
But
exactly.
we had to make sure that we brought that energy We took the energy that we had and we pushed it through the cameras, and we made sure that everybody that watched us, they were a part of our show. And that's what it is, the connection. We have to connect. You have to connect to your fan base. And if you're not connecting to your fan base, if you're not connecting to your crowd, then you're gonna have a hard time.
Okay, so it's one thing to be able to write a good song, put some lyrics together, get on the stage, put on a nice outfit or whatever. But in terms of being able to do all that I saw y'all do last night, you're jumping, you're sculling, you're dancing, you're whining. Do you work out?
Every day, in fact, I worked out. I did an hour and a half before I got to the station. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. And if you're taking it as if you taking this thing as a career, it ain't no joke. And it's all about health. It's all about your fitness. It's all about your level of everything in terms of what you could bring to the stage, because you can't bring energy if you're not fit. You can't if you're not eating right. You have to know it. If you're not doing your vocal exercises, then you cannot perform. Your breathing exercises, all of these things, that's what it entails in terms of getting on the stage. And in order to be, sometimes I'm on stage for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You have to be fit to be able to do those things.
You and Gino, who's been doing this, would you say that Gino has been doing this much longer than you?
Listen, people don't understand. I produce for Gino.
Well, he did make mention of that last night, for real.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like in this era, and that's even more so when they start to speak about the verses. I'm like, no, I can't do a verses with a Gagino or a KB or those guys, because those guys in their era shining was when I was the top producer producing their music. And that's what a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let us enlighten the younglings, especially, because they just knowing you from back that bam time, like these people in studio, right? Let's give them the history. Now, I know you say you don't remember dates and things, but let's take them back for a minute. Take us back to the producing days.
Let's go back in the day from Gino first started out, and I gotta big up Die Youngamore in Agua Funk, man, because he played a pivotal role in the executive producing Ira and Gino's first albums that they did. And from things like Stagger Lee, I produced Stagger Lee. Gal If I Had You, I produced Gal If I Had You. Drunk Again, I produced Drunk Again. The people don't understand, and that's why that's why I'm saying why try put us as a verses and you really don't know the history behind who we
that's
actually
like you going against yourself.
Yeah, why would we do that? And so I'm not taking that from these guys, because they are phenomenal artists. I learned from them. And so that's how I became great in terms of what I do now. And so I've been producing with KB. I'm co-writing songs with KB. Feel like I just get licking my head. All of them. I Got a Hangover. All of those songs. Like, I've been producing for these guys. I was the guy in the studio.
You were the quiet fire.
Yeah, I was producing back in the day. So to put me against these guys is like, no, man. That's not that. And it's not fair for them guys as well, because I was a producer. I was producing and co-writing for these guys. Party in the Backyard, all of those songs, those were songs that I produced. There was a particular point in time, if you all didn't know it, I was producing 80% of the Bahamian music that was playing on the radio, gospel and secular. So it ain't like, you see what I'm saying? So it was not like, last night was just for me, like, it's just vibes. I was so happy. Jenna was singing songs that I produced. So it was like, we were doing, like, it was really a great, I felt accomplished, to be honest with you.
You must have.
Yeah, man, it was a happy moment. It was a good opportunity for us to get back together, to feel some of that vibe that we felt when we were creating these music too, as well. So it was really for me. That's why you see me bouncing in the background and singing background vocals. I was the one singing the background vocals in most of these songs. So
I realized.
Yeah, so it was a great moment. It was a great moment.
Well, with that, Mark, let's take a quick break once again. We got to dive into history from you. We have to know from whence it all came. So stay tuned. Of course, more Free Your Mind right here on your hit station. We are Star 106 Hits. Okay. So what you doing? She loved this. She watching. She watching. What?
Wait, that show was off the chain last night.
Yeah.
Mark, my good boss looking. She's saying hi from a distance. She's social distancing even on camera, son.
Girl, you can't social distance on camera. What's going on?
When I say she's staying for she's social distancing even on
Hey,
camera.
brother! Hey, brother! What's going on?
She's like, hi, son. She's far. She, yeah, we having a yeah. All right, we back on. We back on. I good. I good. Yeah, yeah, man.
Wala maybe. Jesus, chat.
Do it. Just do it. Just do it. I had to catch these two up last night. It was so awesome. Him and Gino.
No. Chat.
This this was so awesome. Yeah, yeah, this is it. All right, here we go. I gotta go. Oh, you can see this is last night. That's last night showing. They go to IL Studios and they recreated their own. You can see did their own thing, but this is what it looked like. See, that's Gino performing now. See D-Mac in the back here. Yeah. Man, hold on. My boss said y'all wasn't social distancing.
Man, we was plenty social distancing, man. We was doing that.
So she want nothing happen to y'all, man.
No, we good.
Okay, here we go. We're going live. Star 106 hits. Welcome back. D-Mac special guest today after a very, very, oh my goodness, I don't even know what to call that anymore because that was really, I want to say, simply put, history in the making.
Hey, we definitely did our thing. I mean, it was to see the response. You know what it is. In all of this time, after all of this time that we have not been performing, but to see the response of the Bahamian public. Not even we talking international as well. So it is not just here locally. To see the amount of persons that chimed in and left their comments, and the persons that are now even watching it today, because like people like I couldn't believe it, and they're watching it back again, and I'm like, what? I actually watched it because I couldn't believe it. So I watched it again this morning and I was like, okay, yeah, we did it. We did our thing. And it was like really, really amazing. So to see the response that we had from local and international, that means that persons really appreciate what we do. In fact, I got a guy that called me. He wanted me to start sending him some rake and scrape instrumentals. He wants to start doing it. I think he's out of Canada.
You see what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Now, of course, BTC on the heels of this, they got to be coming with something else. Now, as you already stated, that it should never for us be a versus because ain't nobody going up against nobody. This ain't no sound clash. Who would you like to see next?
Me next? I mean, I could be all up in myself and say we have reached the pinnacle, but I ain't gonna do that. But I mean, there are other artists out there that can do some things. And if it's not a versus, then I would love to see some of the younger cats, the Bloodies and the Franchons, those get out there and do their thing. Maybe not a male or male, maybe a male and a female, because I think Bloody and Franchon do an awesome job together. I would love to see those guys get out there and do their thing. But what I would really like to see happen though is I would love to see it from a perspective where it's kind of on a pay-per-view kind of thing, even if it's a $2, $3 kind of thing, because let's realize, man, we getting out there, we doing our thing, but we have not been paid for 7 months. We have not been in this industry. National insurance has not been kind to us. Not that national insurance is the problem. I think that we as artists and entertainers and creators have been that problem ourselves by not doing the business properly. But at the same time, we have not been. And I can't say me, but I have to say we because I'm a part of the community. So we have not been doing due diligence in terms of what we need to do as a business. Making sure we have the right contributions to be able to collect the benefits. It's a lot of things that are lacking in this industry, and I would love to even talk about some of those things, and as well as the orange economy. I'd love to talk about that as well. But this is your show, so we can talk about last night or anything else you want to talk about, or we can talk about what's the value.
You know what? We can save that. You know what? We're going to talk about this business of music, in a separate show, separate and apart. We could do that anytime you're ready because it is something that is fundamental. It's something that's necessary. It's one thing to have the talent, but if you don't understand the business of this music, then again, you'll just be doing it for the love.
You are absolutely correct. Let's look at. I can just give a simple thing. We talk about licensing and copyright. Copyright in the Bahamas is a serious thing. So it's not a radio station thing in terms of paying royalties. Yes, radio stations are doing, some are not. It even ain't that really as deep, even though that is a part of it. But it's even as far as licensing with music being played in public spaces, we're not collecting for that as creatives. And it's not just even music; it's arts, it's intellectual property on it in its entirety. That is in shambles at the moment. We need to correct that. Copyright law, the copyright law is enacted, but the problem is it's not being enforced. Restaurants are not paying, and it's not you paying a bunch of money for it. It's just a simple thing. Why not? Why is the government not enforcing the fact that there are licensing fees that need to be paid? So in order for you to get a business license, why do you not pay the licensing fee for the music that you're going to play in your establishment? It's pretty simple, but it does say that we have the lack of respect for creative. The government in itself and all governments, PLP, FNM, have the lack of respect for the entertainers. They only want to use us and don't care what next year. You know they can try to use the COVID special to try swing us in any event. But and we are the reason that people come to events or come to even your election stages. But we are going to be turn it on, Charlie. Turn it to we are the ones that are being we are the ones that but we as the creatives, we are I have to say it this way, we stupid because we are not binding together unification. That's why I can't do a versus thing either, because we have to work together in order for us to be able to be respected in this town. We're not being respected. We being used, we being bamboozled, we being hoodwinked. We being swing, everybody, PLP swinging us, FNM swinging us. We're not getting together. That's our problem in this country. We want to use these political parties. We want to use these colors, but we don't even understand why the government ain't paying you. Why you ain't collecting? Why you as a creative, why you ain't collecting on your intellectual property? Why? Because you want to be FNM or you want to be PLP. But as a creative, why you ain't collecting? Because they ain't enforcing the law. Who are you? They ain't respecting you. You ain't getting no respect. When come around election time, they can throw you $1 couple of dollars and put you on the stage. No, you want to collect, you want the respect. Why not get the respect and the thing that is owed to you and due to you as an intellectual, as a creative? Why you are not getting that? And this orange economy where trillions of dollars are in this trillions of dollars are being earmarked for the creatives. Why are we not up on this? We heard it. I heard the government mention the orange economy. I hear the Economic Recovery Committee mention all these things. But why are we as creatives not on top of this orange economy? The orange economy simply means the creative community. And that's us. That's you, Empress. That's everybody. That's the lady behind you with the camera. Everybody's intellectual property. That's vlogging, blogs. That's everything. That's where the diversification of economy comes. Why are we not chiming into this? We are bamboozling ourselves as, sorry, I didn't mean to get so passionate, but when it comes to this,
free your mind still, you know.
This thing here it just pisses me off because people in entertainment and creatives don't understand the power that we possess.
Amen.
We have to bind together.
I tell you this though, knowledge is the key. You see, there's one thing again, like we said prior to this, one thing to say you like to sing and dance and prance on the stage, but if you don't understand the business, then all of this just basically does this number. It just flies over your head and you just don't know. But that's why it's going to require persons like yourself, the veterans. Y'all still have a role to play in terms of passing on the knowledge, because knowledge is key. And what you just did and what you just said raised a whole lot of eyebrows, not just for those that are in the fraternity, but for those that are outside that didn't realize that this thing is truly a business.
It is a business, but this is how it is done all around the world. And part of our problem is we don't operate at international standards here in the Bahamas, and that's why we are not getting anywhere. Because we are not operating at international standards. Them people on Bay Street who playing all of this music, don't care where they playing it from, you know. All of them supposed to be paying licensing fees. All of
Not
these
not only that,
homecomings, regattas, the restaurants, the
yes,
clubs, the bars, everybody is support. That is how we are supported. That's a part of our business. That's where we don't collect. And that's why they look at us as suffering. That's why you see those persons that are on an international level successful because they could sit in a COVID-19 and still collect checks off streaming and digital sales.
that's right. Talk
We're
the
not
thing.
doing it. And licensing, they are collecting because they are doing the business. We are not doing the business.
Okay, okay.
We
So
need to start doing the business.
it simply means that now is the time. Again, COVID has exposed a lot. Not that these things didn't pre-exist, but now is the
Correct.
time to open your eye and just like Nike say, just do it. You got to. If you want to be paid, you've got to pave the way and do what you're supposed to do in order to. And you know what's funny? A lot of times when I see certain artists like yourself, one or two that are very stringent about the business and doing it correctly. Others look at you like, well, who they think they is? Hello, if you don't raise the standards, we will never get the recognition that we say we want or we fight for. It'll never happen.
There's only one way to do it. It's the right way. It's the industry standard way. So if you look at me with a cross eye and you think I'm doing something different, no, I am doing it the industry way. And if you look at that, then you need to pattern after what I do. I'm not doing it any crooked way. I'm doing the straight up way. I am talking about what is my right. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about something that I asking somebody to give me. I am talking about what is my right. That is the right.
You got to remember too, Mark, that a lot of artists are just in this for little likes on Facebook, the little airplay, especially if Shirley Street play their song 2 minutes, they, feel like they made it. Why are you laughing at me? I lie.
You ain't like I call it the shade syndrome. The minute they get one song, they put on some shades and they superstar.
Exactly.
I don't understand that for the life of me. I mean, for the simple fact that none of us have broken out of this country as yet, and none of us are not on no standard where we are sold gold or platinum or we have been in the Grammys. None of us have ever done it. So we have a long road to travel, and we gotta wake up, and we gotta be real with ourselves and realize that we have to work together too, as well, in this industry in order to break out there. Why are we having so much clusters in this Bahamas? Why are we clustering ourselves? This little group, the next little group, the other little group. Why? Because all of us think we have the formula, but none of us collectively have a clue what's going on until we get together and really bring all of our ideas in together and start functioning properly as an industry. We're not functioning as an industry here in the Bahamas.
Is every dog for themselves?
That's our problem. That's our problem right now. We could talk about what is Bahamian music all day.
I know we gotta have a part 2 to this, but we gotta bid you farewell as you are in studio getting ready to create something. You're cooking up something.
I got Ray in the building. Ray Buffbo.
Hey, what's going on, Empress?
Yeah, blessed love.
Ray come to do some engineering, and that's the next thing about it too. When we talk about industry standard, we talk about letting everybody operate and function in their profession. Ray is a mix engineer. I ain't mixing no more. I let people do what they're supposed to do. If you got a mastering engineer, let the mastering engineer do what they have. The one-man show for the industry is done. We can't operate that. We can't function that way in the Bahamas. Everybody has a role to play, and we have to all play our part. You ain't no engineer. Don't expect your song to sound as good in your ear. But there are people who will pick that to pieces around the world because you did not send that to a professional mix engineer. So we need to make sure that we do everything at an industry standard. You're a songwriter, well, write the song and give it to a producer. Let the producer produce it. The producer, you can't mix the song. Send it to a mix engineer. The mix engineer, no, you can't master it. Send it to a mastering plant. That's how these things are supposed to be done.
Whoa! I got something to say. You may be a good songwriter, but don't mean that you must sing that song.
You ain't the singer. You're not the artist. It ain't your song to sing. It ain't your song to sing.
All right, we got to end right there, Mark. Mark, for those that want to follow you on social media, because I want y'all to believe, get ready for part 2 of this conversation. Much needed conversation. See? Emily
D-Mac,
say,
D-Mac
"Two."
242, D-Mac 242, D-Mac Bahamas. Look at me, Instagram, Facebook. Check me out, Twitter, everything. I'm on all the platforms. Make sure go online. Now, the biggest part about this is too, guys, we need y'all to support because the Bahamas especially, we don't really do digital downloads. You know, we used to, from back in the day, we was a pirating nation, so we've been pirating from time. But the next reality is for all of us that we have to be able to support. It only costs $1.99, maybe 99 cents to purchase a song. Purchase 10, purchase 5, whatever they spend $20 and support your Bahamian, your local Bahamians. The show you all saw last night is strictly because we are trying our best to make sure that we could give you guys the best. But you need to help us to support to be able to go back in the studio to pay to get the professional level of music that we need to get done. It costs money. And so we need to do it. We need your support. Go online, go on your iTunes, Spotify, go on the various platforms, the digital platforms, the streaming platforms, purchase and support your Bahamian. The only way we could do it is with everybody. 400,000 people here, well, 300 something plus. Look here, if all you all spend $2 each, we making some money in this country. Come on, that's how we supposed to do it.
Mark, thank you so much for your time. We got to plan part 2. Got to.
Hey, definitely. We still ain't do what's the value yet. But anyhow.
We can tell them what they want is later.
You ain't want me to talk about what's the value. All right, there ain't no problem.
We are out of time.
Because I don't see two people who are achieving the same thing. One party got to pay for the next time. Anyhow, let's go from there. Let's go.
For the next time.
Let's go. I don't see if the two of us are arriving at the same boat at the same port at the same time. Why I got to pay the fare?
We can talk more about that. You know what? I can invite you back for that next week. D-Mac, y'all, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Of course, top of the hour, 5 o'clock. You drive at 5 with yours truly, and DJ AI comes your way.
It's most tender, juicy fried chicken.
Yeah, baby. You're awesome.
Right, as usual, but thank you so much. But you know how I mean. You go there. You know how we go. 100%. 100%. Love you, girl.
Let's plan part 2. I love you too, baby. We're gonna talk real soon. We gotta do this again because you know what? You know, like you said, a lot of people just see music as just music and don't understand that this is like carpentry. This is like lawyer, doctor, Indian.
Yes.
It is a business, and it has to be respected as a business. But if you don't know, you just don't know. You know.
Yes, very true. And that's why platforms like this is where you see me and I start to give education because I want people to understand what's going on. I need to be talking to them. I want them to hear what they need to hear because this industry, this is just, but look at it around the world though. Let's look at it around the world. Look at the Cardi B's and look at the Beyonce and look at the wealthy people. These people wealthier than presidents.
That's right. Absolutely.
And in order for that means that they are respected business. They ain't doing it casual. Everybody see the glitz and the glamours and the thing and what Offset buy and whoever buy this or this Maybach or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't understand that these people are functioning in an industry and a business. And that's where we need to function in order to get to that level.
Yeah, but it gotta start. Somebody gotta put the foot forward.
Real talk.
You know, a lot of artists just happy collecting one little, like you say, one little rally money or one little regatta money. But even in that, it's still business. Why are you not executing contracts to these people so they could understand? Just give me your money. It's like you're swindling and you're wheeling and dealing, and you ain't gonna get the respect like that.
Do it. From you have a rally here, you're supposed to then pay your license and have the rally because you're playing music. All of that need to be enforced. All that need to be enforced.
Intellectual property, and I can tell you
intellectual property.
Hey, for the win. Listen to me. I came up with something, I want to say 13 years ago that everybody says, man, I weak. Everybody, right? Somebody used that in some kind of freaking campaign, and I had my lawyer write them, right? You know, they friggin' took offense. Like, who the she thinks she is? That's mine. I got that shit copywritten, bro.
That's yours. That's your intellectual property.
Oh, but they don't respect that. But guess what? The more you do it, and you know what? The minute they got that thing from the lawyer, they pull the commercial. Why? Because there's like, oh shit, this girl ain't playing. But you got to do it.
No, but why pull it? Why pull it? Pay it. Why pull it?
I can tell you what they did. I can tell you what they did off air. I can't tell you that one live. I can tell you what they did.
Why pull it? Pay it. Pay
Yeah,
it.
boy. Listen, and that's years ago. But it takes things like that to happen for people to understand what copyright is, right? What intellectual property is first and foremost, and respect it. But you have to have these kind of dialogues to sensitize everybody, Joe Blow, on what this is all about.
Hey, the fact that they pull it mean that they have no respect for you, and that's what we need to do that because most of we. Our problem is everybody figure they could run over us. Like people I'm
Not
calling you
only
for a
that,
party, they want you to perform in the back of their yard. Oh, you need you to come. No, bro, you gotta pay me this money. Oh, but they only have a little. Listen to me now. If you having this and you ask me to perform, bro, this is what my fee is. Come
and
on,
respect
man.
that. No, and not only
Respect
that,
that
you see, when y'all have these people doing commercials and they throwing your music in the background, you're supposed to be getting paid for every time that's played, bro.
every time. It's a licensing problem. We have a problem here, but it's in law. Copyright is enacted. It's a law. It's in law enact. Why are we not enforcing it? And it's so simple. Just like how the government looking for their money, because national insurance tied to the business license. If you can't get a check from government if you don't have
Yeah, 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 yeah. What the number is? What the number is
your
called?
letter
10,
of somebody
10,
else
yeah,
good
yeah,
standing. You
yeah.
can't get nothing if you don't have a letter of good standing. So why you could get that? Government only care about itself. Why you don't care about the creative community? Those people that need the license and money. Why you can't include that when you get your business license? Pay it at the same time.
One time, one shot,
One
one
time.
shot. All right,
Just like how you collecting.
go. Bib on something. We can talk more about this later.
All right, later, baby.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you later. You ain't leaving Nassau no time soon, right?
No, not right about now. We get music going on.
Okay. All right. We can talk later. Emily,
Respect.
love you
All right.
too, girl. Mwah.